Hey everybody, it's Dr. Maya Alapin, Mama Soul Doc. I want to talk today about something very important to me, which is the principles of advanced conversational hypnosis. Like, what are the principles? What is at the bottom of it? So obviously I teach a class on this, a 3-day workshop, several times a year. So there's a lot to say. It's not like I can fit it all into one video. But I did write down just some of the principles that are operational. So I'm just going to go through the list so you can get an idea just from this video. So, first principle of advanced conversational hypnosis is not required for advanced conversational hypnosis. It is not the cornerstone of why the method works. It so happens that by using this method, hypnosis or trance is a natural byproduct. So I expect to experience it. I expect my clients to experience it because the method I'm using tends to elicit it, but it is not required. Okay, so required hypnosis is like, oh, hi, you want to quit smoking? Okay, sit down in the chair. 10, 9, 8. Are you relaxed? Relax more. 7, 6. Relax more. Relax more. Keep relaxing. Okay, how deep are you? Are you deep enough? Okay, you're a non-smoker now. You never smoke. You only breathe fresh air. That's traditional hypnosis. I mean, obviously, I'm doing a caricature. It's usually better quality than that. But the idea is the hypnotist creates the hypnosis so that the person can go into it, so that they can go in there and make a change. So that's kind of a contrived, planned method. But what I'm saying is conversational hypnosis has none of that. There is no 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. There is no, okay, go into this trance. There is no me checking how deep you are. So the contact with the subconscious through the non-forcedness, the non-forced nature of it is natural. And that is why it's effective. So the fact that it's not forced or required by the client is essential. That's exactly why the method is powerful because I don't force anything and my students don't force anything. So a way you can think about this kind of natural trance is everywhere. We're always in a trance. We're in many trances every day. We're in a trance often when we watch TV. Ever notice that? You're just watching TV, not thinking about anything, not thinking about what's going on, and then suddenly, somebody says, "Hey, what do you want for dinner?" And you're like, "Oh," like that's a trance. Or when you're velocitized while you're driving. Sometimes you're on the highway and then you come off the highway and you're still going at a highway speed, right? That's because you're in a trance, you're driving. Or sometimes you're driving somewhere and you don't remember like taking all the turns and then you get there and you're like, "Whoa, look at me, I'm here." Because you were in a trance the whole time. So trance is a natural part of life. It's created intentionally by corporations. When you go to the mall, they put you in a trance. You ever notice that? You're walking around like, oh, I need that. I need that. Oh, that looks nice. That's shiny. That's the way it's created. Casinos are the same. So, trance is very much something that has been used to manipulate us for a long time. And the reason it's so easy to use is because we're so easy to go into it. So, the irony of that is I use the same idea. It's very easy to get into and it's very easy to enjoy it. And there's nothing weird about it. I don't have to force it. I don't have to create it. It's just there. So I know that the mind knows. I know that the mind knows how to do it. And I know that nothing is going to get in the way of it coming out unless I create a reason for something to be in the way for it. So I don't have to create anything. I just have to not be fake. I have to not create something that doesn't need to be created, so to speak. So The mind knows how to create the problem. The mind knows how to uncreate the problem. The mind knows how to study a problem. The mind knows how to study how to get out of a problem. It's just that it has to be in that trance state to achieve that clarity. And many people don't know how to do that for themselves. So they need a professional to go to that place. That's the first principle of advanced conversational hypnosis is I don't force trance, I don't require trance, I don't require hypnosis, I don't force inductions. The hypnosis is 100% organic. Okay, principle number two, no suggestions, no deepeners. I don't do any process beyond what I just said, which is trusting that the subconscious knows what it's doing. So no need to make a suggestion like, oh, and now you're breathing fresh air and now you're a non-smoker. Like, don't have to go there because the mind can do it on its own. So I don't do suggestion. I don't do deepening, like, okay, now you can triple your depth, okay, so you're feeling relaxed. Now you can be as relaxed as you want to be. You can be even more relaxed. You can be as relaxed as you want. Sometimes it just feels like bashing people over the head, right? So I don't use that. No deepeners, no suggestions, no suggestibility tests, no all of those contrived pieces of hypnosis that are still taught by a lot of hypnosis schools, which I'm not saying is wrong. I'm just saying it's not what I do, and it's not the principle of conversational hypnosis the way I'm teaching it. So, number three, investigating the unconscious payoff. So, another principle of conversational hypnosis is the conversational part is an interview, basically. It's a hypnotic interview that allows me, the practitioner, to investigate the problem. So, this is how the ball gets rolling, so to speak. And it's very important to investigate and to investigate why the person keeps their problem because there's some reason they need it. Otherwise, they would have surrendered it already. So, what is it that they're needing out of it? What is it that they're getting that they're not realizing they really want or really need? Now, a lot of people think that to investigate a payoff like this, we need to, again, force the person to tell us. Another way to look at that would be like to apply a methodology or a technique, like regression. Very popular methods on the market right now are rapid transformation technology, which is a really cool technology. I got nothing bad to say about it other than the fact that it is a method. And so it is assuming that regression is the way in which a person will reveal their unconscious payoff. So the idea is, oh, you have a problem. Let me regress you so that I can tell you why you have this problem so that you can surrender it. But let me ask you this. What if somebody doesn't want regression? What if the regression really upsets them? What if it makes it worse for them? What if the answer wasn't there and now they're somewhere they don't want to be? What if it has repercussions? What if you're telling somebody to do regression when what they really need is inner child work or parts therapy or EMDR or something else? How should we assume that we always know, hey, this method will take me to the unconscious payoff? So I don't believe that. I don't believe that I can just apply the same cookie cutter method to everybody. So I don't. So there's no way for me to know that. So therefore, I don't make an assumption and I don't investigate unconscious payoffs through a forced method. I investigate it through the conversation, which in turn creates the hypnosis, which in turn creates the solution. So that's point number three. No technique to force investigation of the unconscious payoff. Okay, number four. I mean, and I already said this in the first three. The trance must be natural. The trance cannot be forced. The trance must be natural. The trance cannot be forced. The trance must be natural. The trance cannot be forced. This is like an integral, very essential. Um, the heart of my method is we cannot force the subconscious to change. That's irrational. That doesn't make any sense. If we could force it, why wouldn't everybody be forcing it and it be working? So the fact that we can't force it means that the trance has to be natural. If you look at my reviews online, everybody wants to know, but how does she do that? You know, how can she be so dependable? How come her results are so good? That's because the trance that comes from every client is theirs. So of course it's going to work. It doesn't seem that strange to me to assume that a natural version of something will be more effective than a contrived version, because that's true in life in general. I'm an organic, crunchy girl, you know, like I'll always buy the more expensive quality product because it's the real thing. If you buy a imitation or a boxed version, it's not as good. Maybe you get a simulation effect, but nothing really good is going to come of that. So it's the same principle in ACH, in advanced conversational hypnosis. The trance must be natural. It cannot be contrived. It cannot be forced. It cannot be on demand. I do not say when, I do not say how, and I do not say for how long. Okay, number five. This is a very important characteristic of advanced conversational hypnosis, which is compression of time. And if you watch some of my demos, which are available on YouTube and inside of my courses and live, you can come watch them live. If you watch a demo session, I think what a lot of people's impression is something like, whoa, that went a lot of places. You know, like you covered a lot of ground. And that might include regression. That might include the past. It might include the future. It might include practical things. It might include emotional things. It might include ETM, which is like a study of how it feels in the body. So, so many little avenues that you can travel down with advanced conversational hypnosis. And the point of it is it's like having many, many therapy visits or therapeutic visits, but all at once so that you can really get perspective on it. So, like mini session, mini session, mini session, instead of, oh, that was a great session. I'll see you next week. Oh, that was a great session. I'll see you next week. Because the mind isn't that, it doesn't remember that well. So if you see, we'll see you next week. We'll see you next week. What happens is people don't get in any momentum. And by the way, I think I see you next week is a fine thing for a regular therapist to say because that's the nature of it is the continual support, the continual availability of it, right? But that's not my purpose. My purpose is not to be here for somebody to talk to. My purpose is to solve the problem, right? To get rid of it. So the mini sessions allow the compression of time, which allows a perspective shift, which allows a macrocosm view, which allows people to see themselves more accurately. And that's a big piece of the principle of why the method is powerful. So, number six, I'm doing principles of advanced conversational hypnosis. Higher dollar item, better quality results. This is the way it is, people. Sorry to have to break it to you, but it's the truth. When people have skin in the game, when the transformation is of high value, the trance is easier for me to enter into because the client is invested. It's just a very simplistic piece of the structure of my business, which is absolutely key. Your dentist does the same thing. Your doctor does the same thing. They value the results of what they accomplish, not the time spent, because it is such an essential item that you, as a patient or as a client, are better served to pay the higher dollar to get a better quality outcome in a shorter time. It's true in hypnosis as well. In conversational hypnosis, the way I teach it, the way I practice it, is very much based on the same premise, which is I'm not going to experiment with you when you come in. I'm not going to try out a script on you. I'm not going to think like, oh, maybe this will work. Maybe I'll try another one next week. No, I am very confident that the approach I'm using will work right now, today, because of all these principles that I'm laying out. So, a hallmark of the method is higher priced item, better quality investment, better quality client, better quality result. So, worked into the structure of the product is that consideration. Okay, number 7. All problems can be handled. I mean, there's a limit, of course, because of medical laws. So obviously, I don't work with people who are manic depressive, bipolar, sometimes manic depressive, yes, bipolar, schizophrenic, on antipsychotic medication. There are some people who are better, more safely treated elsewhere. So there are some things I screen for sure, but conversational hypnosis has no real limit. So somebody can have erectile dysfunction. I'll use the same thing as I'll use for a smoker, which is the same thing that I'll use for weight loss, which is the same thing that I'll use for depression. So the resulting conversation is not the same for each of those, but the principles are the same. So what I'm really good at is hypnosis. What I'm really good at is the mind. I'm not necessarily an expert at any given one thing, although, of course, I have my niche that I happen to know the most about. But overall, all problems can be handled with conversational hypnosis within the boundaries that I set out. So, conversational hypnosis, as I'm practicing it, is not itself the technique, right? It's a framework that has principles like I'm laying out, but it's not a technique. So it doesn't have to be boxed into a certain category and a certain problem and a certain type of person. Does that make sense? So it's very much a contentless set of principles that can slide for different types of people and different contexts and different problems. It is not itself a method. Therefore, it does not have to be restricted to certain types of problems. Number 8, it's clean. It's clear. There's no mix. It's not like, oh, come in and see me and we'll do a little of this and a little of that and we'll see what happens. No, I don't have a toolbox that I pull from. I have a toolbox that I pull from, of course, because I've been doing it for a long time, but it's not the way a traditional therapist will pull and say, okay, this is the homework for today. This is the, meditation for today. Let's do some breathing. Let's do the. No, I don't have a bunch of variety like that. There's no mix of techniques. There's no best of. There's no like, oh, this is the best thing for you. No, because I'm really working with the subconscious, my subconscious, your subconscious, my subconscious, applying these content-free principles outside of the mentality of, well, let me tell you what would be best for you and try that, i.e., a technique. So I don't do that at all. Number 9, all levels of experience can do this, and all levels of experience can receive it. This idea of advanced conversational hypnosis, I mean, the advanced part is differentiating it from all the brands of hypnosis, conversational hypnosis that are around. But really, there's nothing that advanced about applying a set of principles, right? What's advanced, if you want to call anything advanced, is the ability to talk to and read the subconscious mind. But as I'm saying in this video, all that's required to do that is a set of principles, not a bunch of training, not 20 years of experience, not 300 sessions. You don't need any of that. It's helpful. I'm not saying it's not going to be good to know what you're talking about and have practice, but It is not essential to be an expert at conversational hypnosis, advanced conversational hypnosis. What's necessary is just the willingness to do it. So I very often have people in my trainings who demo for the first time ever in front of a live group, and the hypnosis works very well, whether they're the practitioner or the client. Well, how can that be? How can somebody who's never done any hypnosis before just do it with my guidance live online? Well, because of what I just said, it doesn't require thousands of hours of prep or training. I'm not saying they don't help. I'm not saying the more you do it, the better at it you get. That is true. But it's not something where anything is required of you. Number 10, most trainings focus on how to get people into trance. Most hypnosis trainings think about how to create trance, how to invite trance. And a problem that many traditional hypnotists have, and I had when I was doing traditional hypnosis, is many clients don't want to. Even when they say they do, even when they pretend they're doing it, like close their eyes, secretly what they're thinking is, this isn't working. I don't like this. I feel weird. Is this even real? Is hypnosis real? What are we doing? You know, people have all kinds of fair, I'll say this, it's fair objections. In fact, I can remember the first time I ever did any traditional hypnosis years ago, before I was interested in hypnosis as a career. I went to a traditional hypnotist to stop biting my nails, which was not effective, by the way. She did not help me. But the traditional hypnosis was like, close your eyes. Do you see a box out there? Where's the box? Blah, blah, blah. It was like so contrived and so forced. And I was forced to follow along this whole thing, which I'm imaginative, so I did it. But I do remember thinking the whole time, like, this is nonsense. This is not helping me. I don't feel any different. What is she talking about? What box? Total skepticism. Guess what? Hypnosis won't work under those conditions. That's not going to work. So if the client doesn't follow along, if the training is focused on how to create that, it's not that likely to work universally or even most of the time. So point number 11 is I train people in the interview. I train people in the art of the conversation. I don't train people in hypnosis because hypnosis is natural. Okay, and then the last point, most important, probably I should have put this one first, is speed. This is the fastest modality I know of. I don't know of any faster way to get people to quit addiction. I do not know of any faster way to break that lens of depression. And don't get me wrong, right? Like, I'm not a doctor. I'm aware that things take different amounts of time for different people, that we can't rush people, that trauma is registered on different, levels. I'm not immune to any of that. I'm not claiming that any of that is false. What I'm claiming is this content-free method has the ability to reach way into the superconscious or way into the subconscious in such an easy and palatable way that the results are fast. And I mean, I couldn't have claimed this a couple years ago because I would not have had any clinical proof of that. But having done hundreds of sessions now and hundreds of clients, I think one thing that is for sure is I'm getting faster and the results are getting quicker to come by. So where it used to take 6 sessions, five, four, now it's really one or sometimes two. I mean, and sometimes more. I'm not saying anyone has to follow any certain guideline, but I'm pretty fast now. It's fast. So this is a speed method. And the reason it's a speed method, the reason that the speed is so speedy is because of what I've said in this video so far. I don't have to force any certain thing. I don't have to create any certain thing. I don't have to watch for any certain marker. Everybody is different and everybody moves through it uniquely. And the more open and creative I can be with that, and the more receptive I can be to that, the more tuned in I am to their subconscious, the clients. And that's where the magic is. So the speed element is a natural byproduct of relinquishing my ego and relinquishing the narcissistic idea that I am so important to the session or to the client, which I'm not saying I'm not important, but I'm not that important, and allowing everything to occur spontaneously and extemporaneously in the moment, which is where all of our human potential lies, in the moment and in the emptiness. So now I'm waxing poetic, so I'm going to stop, but that is the truth that the method works because it's not really a method. It's a set of principles, which is what the video is about. So those are the principles. As I said, of course, there's a lot to learn here. I'm not saying that any of this is like, oh, well, that sounds easy. Let's go ahead and do it because, it takes days and maybe weeks to learn how to apply this. And certainly I have a lot of theory to share when I teach the training, and practicing and creating more and more experiences of the subconscious is essential to becoming really reliable and good at it. So I'm not pretending like it's just something that falls out of thin air. It is not. But what I am saying in this video is it's a new, different, standout approach that rejects most of the wisdom that we have been using in this field for a long time. And that doesn't mean the wisdom is wrong. It just means that we're beyond it now. Like we've learned enough, and now we can innovate and iterate a better, faster method. Advanced conversational hypnosis. So that's what I'm doing, is iterating on this method, keeping up with the times, moving with the speed at which humans are developing and developing problems so that they can go just as fast out of where they are as they got into it. So speed is a very important element. I love the fast transformation. I love the excitement of it. I love the long-term effect of having that experience of being awake. Very much like using psychedelics, very much like any really landmark human, experience that we have. I like that our conversational hypnosis method has that feature. It's exciting and it's fun and it's engaging and it's powerful and it's magical. So come learn it with me. I love to teach it. If you have any questions, I know this is a long video. Thanks for listening all the way through. If you have any questions about it, just put them in the comments and I will certainly answer. If there's something else you want to know about conversational hypnosis and advanced conversational hypnosis, please by all means ask. Thanks for listening. This is Mama Soul Doc in Montreal, Quebec.